Hi, my name is Darren and I work with Tender Education and Arts in London. So we're really sorry that we couldn't be there with you in Italy for this conference to share some of the work that we've done, but we wanted to provide a video to give you a little bit of information about the toolkits that we created alongside our partners and how you might be able to use them if you're working with groups of young people. So Tender is a charity that uses theatre and arts-based methods to work and engage with young people in the prevention of domestic and sexual abuse and the promotion of healthy relationships. So our main methodology is to use theatre and arts-based tools and activities. And the reason we do this is that we found it to be the most effective way to get young people to explore this topic and to really embed the learning that we try and bring to them. So firstly, it's quite fun to use theatre, to use arts, when the topic might feel a little bit intimidating or like it's going to be a bit sensitive. It's useful to have a tool that young people can really enjoy so that they can feel open and feel like it's an accessible space for them to work in. It also provides a kind of a safe distance from the topic for young people who might not be ready to speak about their own experiences or who feel a bit shy about expressing opinions and asking questions. Using drama and using characters and storylines means they can navigate the topics through those behind kind of characters rather than speaking from themselves, which gives them an easier access point into this topic and allows them to open up over the course of time. Sometimes we're working with young people who already know each other, where there's a lot of trust built up, but other times we might be in schools and youth settings where actually they don't know each other that well. It's a little bit too soon to speak as openly as they would like to. So this provides us with a way for them to look at the topic as safely as possible. That prevents them from withdrawing from the learning because they feel that it's a little bit too exposing, or even worse, from being re-traumatized if they have already experienced some of the topics we're talking about. Drama is also a really good tool for building empathy, and that's one of the most fundamentally important things for us to focus on when we're trying to support people to build healthy relationships. We're supporting young people who might have a risk of being victimized in these relationships, and also those who might have a risk of perpetrating. So by engaging empathy, by asking us all to consider the impact of our behavior, it can help very young people to acknowledge behaviors that might not be as healthy and to switch to a more respectful mode when working with others. It also allows young people to really practice and rehearse the things we're talking about in a more embodied and a more interactive way. When we do activities that are just discussion based, a young person might easily say, oh, if I was ever in any kind of risk, or if I saw my friends at risk, I would act straight away, I would call for help, I would remove from the situation, which is great, but it might not actually be realistic in terms of how they would really behave. If they have different kinds of pressures around them, if some of their friends are disagreeing with them, that can all impact their behavior. So by acting things out, providing scenarios that are a safe version of what might be risky or what might feel uncertain, it allows young people to practice what they're going to say, how they're going to act, how they're going to deal with potential barriers to getting help. And then if they encounter that scenario in real life, they've already had a rehearsal. It's sort of embodied and embedded into their memory. So they've told us that they found it easier to respond and didn't feel uncomfortable speaking up for what they needed. So drama has been a really important and useful tool for us in those different ways. So when we were building this work with for the Erasmus project, we brought together some of our team who are experienced in that work, some young people who we work with who are advisors for us now, who can talk to us about what they think would be most engaging and what topics they think are most important to address. So when we considered what units are most important to include when teaching people about healthy relationships, they identified 3 different units. The first one is healthy relationship with self. So before we even begin to talk about interactions with others, we need to consider some activities that help to build self-awareness, self-esteem, and self-worth. So through this unit of our toolkit, we look at how we identify the kind of emotions we're feeling. Sometimes young people want to behave in a way that they feel is socially acceptable and don't totally tune into their own feelings about whether something makes them feel comfortable or uncomfortable, or don't feel they can trust those feelings. So these activities help us to support young people in really addressing how it is that they're feeling and to respond in that way. And also to consider feelings that might be uncomfortable, feelings of anger, feelings of sadness, and thinking about how we express those to others and the responsibility we have for being aware of their emotions and how we're impacting on them. And by building up this sense of self-worth and self-esteem, young people are in a better position to advocate for what they want in a relationship. So that moves on to the second unit, which is healthy relationships with others. So through this section, there's lots of different activities that we developed, which look at personal boundaries and consent, and how we can kind of figure out what the line is between healthy and unhealthy, between what we're comfortable with and what we're not comfortable with, and how we communicate that with others. So some of the activities are quite interactive and involved. Some of them might be sort of abstract about sensing personal space. Some of them might be a bit more literal, where we use scripts that young people can act out, which contain early warning signs of subtle forms of abuse. And we can use those scripts to help young people to start finding those red flags and understanding when something maybe doesn't feel quite right. So the third unit then is healthy relationships with technology. Always with working with young people, this is a really important topic, as it forms a really major component of how they communicate with one another. Over the last 18 months since we were doing this project, it was more important than ever, because the COVID pandemic meant that young people had to move their socialization, their relationship development almost completely online at different stages. So it was really important that we considered what that platform looks like and how it's being used. So it's important to us that we don't say that technology is all bad and that young people shouldn't use it to engage with one another, because as we can see even from using this video link now, that actually there's so many benefits from being able to use technology, and it's just about helping young people to understand how they can use it safely. So we talk in this section about how young people can identify risk and keep themselves safer in terms of what they're sharing online, how they're identifying who it is that they're speaking to, what feels safe and what feels unsafe, and what to do if something goes wrong, if somebody shares information about them without their consent or shares images without their consent. So we look at those kinds of risks and dangers. And we also talk about some important things about how we receive messages online and how sometimes they can be a little bit distorted. So young people might be seeing lots of images of how they think that they should look, which are actually quite distorted by photo altering or by filters, and which make them feel kind of bad about themselves, or that they need to prove themselves in a certain way. So we look at that and we talk about how that makes us feel. There also can be times when young people access materials that are not very safe for them online. So young people who are looking for information about sex might end up accessing pornography if they don't have easier and safer ways to access that education in school or in their families or within their communities. And the information they get from those kinds of areas might be really distorted. So it might give them a very false idea of what they should expect in a sexual relationship or what's expected of them. And that can really interfere with the formation of healthy relationships. So this module helps us to work with young people to consider what is part of the offline world, what's part of the real world, what the differences are. And rather than it being very kind of supervisory and kind of looking over young people's shoulders, instead we're trying to give them the tools so that they can navigate some of that world themselves in a way that is safe and in a way where they have critical skills that allow them to differentiate between what's real and what's not real. So all these different units come together in a toolkit that we have available on the website that my colleagues will be sharing with you, which you can use when working with young people. Alongside that, we also have a free online training, which is used as a kind of to help you build up the foundation before using that toolkit. So it goes a little bit more into detail about some of the subtle issues involved in patterns of coercive control, how we might identify that and what might be the antidotes to that. It also looks at barriers to help seeking that young people or that adults might experience, and how we can help to kind of dismantle those barriers and access help. The training also looks at spotting risks or red flags amongst young people that we might work with to consider how we would act if we were concerned about a child, and looks at some facilitation skills so that we can really help to embed these messages in a way that young people find engaging. So you can access that full training online on the website and then use the toolkit either through the full session plans with young people, or choose different activities that you think will match up with the groups you're working with and the topics that are most important to them. And these kind of exercises can be used with lots of different kinds of groups because they're all sort of adaptable and they allow young people to take the lead. So you can find their level and find the topics that they're most interested in, or that they're mature enough to absorb at that time, because they'll be taking that lead. So if anybody has any questions for Tender about the toolkit or about the ways we work, you can contact us through our website on tender.org.uk, and we'd be really happy to continue on the conversation. So best of luck for a wonderful conference.